felt like I didn't eat really healthy. I ate like a kid, really. I didn't know how to build like a balanced meal at all. I didn't realize like how much like carbs or like what was a carb versus what was a protein or things that I thought were protein or carbs and stuff like that or like vegetables. You know, I thought it was just kind of like what you learn in school where they like just split it and have like I think I still remember like the pyramid and obviously that's not the case anymore. So I'm like, we need an update. I think most of it was like again, like it was weight. I didn't have any energy. Like I was just eating, I was tired of eating just like junk all the time and feeling like junk all the time. I didn't try like a bunch of diets, but every time you did try a diet, it was like you had to eat their specific meals or eat their specific stuff. So it didn't have any flexibility for like real life, you know, like what if you want to go out to dinner with friends? You're like, great, now I like have to bring my own like little tray of something, or you can't have anything. And really restrictive and you don't feel like you could enjoy. So it's you would just burn out easy on them. And you're like, okay, well, I'm gonna try this for like, you know, let's say you're really good for a month and then by the end you're just like, forget it. This is not a real like lifestyle change for me. Like this doesn't work for me. I need more flexibility than this and I want to be able to eat whatever I want. I can eat whatever I want. And even like the things that I like before I had such a sweet tooth, like I obviously, of course, I still do, but it's different. Like food tastes different because you start eating more of like a balanced meal. So now you like the things that you craved so much before, you don't even crave now, or you're just like, you can deal with like, oh, I want ice cream, but I'm not going to eat like the thing of ice cream. I'm just like, you know, I just need like maybe a spoonful or like maybe like a little tiny cup. Like it's more balanced. It's not so like in the extreme because when you make it like too taboo, it's like I can't have it, and now like anytime you can have it, you just like stuff it in your mouth, and now you're just like, oh, I know I can have it. I just you just need to do it in moderation. You know, if I have to have something sweet at the end of every meal, you still can. It's just not like going crazy over it. And even a lot of like I remember when we started, I loved those chocolate Dove bars. Like it was insane. I'm like I just need to have like my Dove bar. And now I'm just like I don't even crave it. I'm just like meh. I'm like they're good. There's like if I have one, I'm not gonna lie. It's not gonna be like oh it tastes horrible. It tastes just as delicious, but I just don't crave it the same way. I crave other things. Like you have and like kind of like your taste buds change too. Like the things that like the junk food that you used to eat a lot, you're just like, ew, why did I eat this for so long? I'm like, this is nasty. Whereas other things that are like, you know, healthier, you're like, oh, this is like really good. You actually like crave healthy stuff. I feel like it's always easier when it's like when you're with somebody else doing it. So you have somebody that keeps you accountable. And if, especially if it's like in the same household, like if you're eating similar, it's so much easier to plan meals, you know, especially like, let's say you're not working on the same goals, but you have like same thing, like we need to eat something balanced. And you're both kind of hold each other accountable. I'm like, is that what Ashley told you? Is that your part of your goal? Did you get enough water? And you know, just having somebody there is just kind of nice to have a support, and it's easier to like eat because then if not, you're just like you know I have to prep my stuff and then you know whatever they want to eat. I thought it was just gonna be like another. I was like, it's gonna be another one of these, and you're gonna have to do like they're gonna be like, I have to eat so many meals, or I have to buy these meals, or you have to do this or that. I'm like, it's gonna be like, I'm like, we'll try it, just to try it again, but you know, obviously that was not the case. I was like, oh look, I can eat whatever I want, and it was more flexible. It was kind of nice. I like that. I like that you like have goals, and even though like I feel like when you start everything, you're like, oh, I want to do everything. You're like so motivated, and then like 2 weeks in, you're like, okay, this is like old and it's hard to keep. And with you, it was nice because you like set up realistic goals. Like, okay, let's change this one thing. Even though I'm pretty sure Christian and I wanted to be like, let's do this and let's do that and let's do this and let's do that. And you're like, well, no, let's just maybe like start slow. Which like in the long run makes sense because you know it's like a more you know sustainable change over time, right? Like before, I'm like,
Mhm.
I kind of drink water, and now I'm like, oh, I always have to have my water now. Like I have to have my like now it's more like a habit, not so much like, oh, I have to do this, that kind of thing. I ate like a balanced breakfast. Remember, I used to just eat like mostly carbs for breakfast, and then of course by the afternoon, I'm just like starving and trying to eat whatever junk I could get in. And like now, I like actually like had real breakfast, like with vegetables and protein and fat. And I was like, oh, and I would actually like, I would make that meal and it would be balanced. And by like lunchtime, I wasn't even like starving. I was like, oh, I should probably eat something now, or like, I have a snack or something. And before I was like, oh my God, I'm like so hungry. I think that was one of them. And then just in general, like when I started eating better, like I had more energy, which, like everybody says the same thing, but it was definitely like I like noticed it. I was like, I feel so much better in general. Like I feel good. I feel like I have energy. I can get more stuff done. Just kind of like really gradual. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I have all this energy. Well, where did this come from? You didn't just focus on food, you kind of focused on different areas of health, which are really important. I mean, it's not like just all food or just all workout or just all like mental health, but it was kind of everything encompassing. And that actually what gives you that healthy lifestyle that most people want. It's not just like, I have to eat like this all day, every day or something. No, you can still eat whatever you want. You just need to like learn to make something balanced. I can still have my Mexican food if I want to, just, you know, it can be, balanced. You just have more meat and not all the rice and beans. Whereas like before it's like this much rice and this much beans and like this little thing of protein. And I was like, no, just have to like rebalance the plate. So that's pretty nice. Might surprise you. It's definitely not like anything you've ever see like online or just random. It was more of like a substantial, like a lifestyle change. If you really are committed and want to make the change, then give it a try. You never know, you might like it.